Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more.
You're listening to the Man That Can Project with Lachie Stuart, a global movement created to empower men and open up what's really going through their minds by having real and raw conversations about life's unique challenges and our individual ways of processing it all. Welcome to the Man That Can Project.
Welcome back, gents. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I am your host and the founder of the Man That Can Project. And thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time, make sure you take a moment to hit follow or subscribe so you can get the regular updates from our incredible guests when they're jumping on the episodes. Now, I'd love to connect further if you do want to find out more about what we do and become a part of our incredible community where we have men from all around the world. Definitely join our free Facebook group, the Man That Can Project. And I'd love to learn more about you guys, what your goals are, some random facts about yourself and what you're looking to achieve this year. Anyway, gents, I'll see you in there. So today, I've been reflecting on a heap of things over the last 24 hours and had an incredible weekend. And one of my focuses this year, and it really was sort of came to light on Friday. I was looking after my nephew, so he came over for the night. We took him to Shrek the Musical here at QPAC in Brisbane, which is a phenomenal show. If you're thinking about going, I'd highly recommend going. But I also had the opportunity to take him to one of our men's huddles, which was an incredible experience, and I'll touch on that in a moment, and also teach him some skills. And there's a few things that were going through my mind in the lead up to this. And, I guess, looking at from a selfish and then a selfless perspective on how life can go. And I think it really highlighted for me that I do take a lot of my life for granted. And I'm not sure whether you guys will be able to relate to this, but I'm sure a lot of you will be. There's blokes out there, or a lot of you listeners have children, and then there's the people who don't have children. And then there's probably people in the middle who are trying to have children. But on Friday, I knew when I finished work that my nephew was going to be at home, and obviously on a Friday afternoon, I like to unwind, take a bit of downtime, and just ease into the weekends. Always a fun way to do end the week. But I knew I had to be on, and I wanted to have a great afternoon with my nephew, so I was on straight away, and it made me realize just how much or how selfless parents are. Right? They lose that ability to be selfish in a sense and do what they want when they want, because it becomes about someone else. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I know for a fact it would be the most incredible thing, and I really enjoyed my time with my nephew. But it highlighted, for those who don't have children, I'm talking to you guys right now. Right now is probably the perfect time in your life for you to work your ass off to create what you want, whether it's spending the time, having the holidays or the hobbies that you want, or learning new skills, or saving up money to invest or travel, or whatever it is. It's like, because the moment that, you start having a family, like, you have to become selfless. It's not as easy to make split decisions. There's more to take into consideration. And, obviously those who have children, the amount of dads I've spoken to have been like, I didn't realize how much time I had until I had children. And that, was sitting with me all weekend. So it's really inspired me to make sure I make the most of my time, even on Sundays, get up and always be doing something that potentially in the future I may wish I had done more of. Now, what that also led me to from the experience was to realize that as people, we're always inspiring someone. And the, I guess, depth of that inspiration, or the ripple effect of that inspiration, comes from how inspired we feel as individuals. So how are we inspiring ourselves? My nephew, and I'm sure this goes for a lot of kids, you realize how switched on they are, how much they watch what you do. Not just what you say, but what you do. And something that was incredible to see was my nephew brought 2 books over. Right? So he's 7 years old. 2 books over, and the reason, or his justification for this was, I need to bring 2 books over just in case I get the opportunity to read as much as Lachie does. Now, I never talk to him about reading. I just read a lot. So that was one of the first points that stood out for me to go, right, kids are always watching. And for me, I was so proud of that moment that he was inspired to be doing something that I believe is going to have a positive impact on his life. Reading for me has been game-changing, and I would love to instill that habit. And I inspire for my children and for the men in my social circle, I guess, and the people that I surround myself with, I want them to be reading as well, because there's so much opportunity for growth. There's innovation. There's great conversation that can come off the back of that. So that was a fantastic takeaway. The second thing, came through the language that I used. Now, when I was reading the book with him, and just even throughout the day when we were skateboarding and doing various other things, I was always like, boom, and this is easy, and all these sorts of things. And he came to the point where he goes, "Is that all you say?" And it was almost like that conversation a dude had with me years ago, where he's like, "How about you learn to articulate yourself better?" And it made me realize, obviously, that kids are wanting, or maybe for my nephew at least, wants better conversation, wants to learn to communicate properly, and maybe treat them as if you are a similar age, like you can really articulate things with how you feel, give some depth to the conversation, or really use words to describe how you're feeling or what you're meaning. Because, if we work at that as leaders, which I believe everyone listening to this podcast is a leader, it's helping raise the standards of those who are watching along, right? They learn how you communicate. They, instead of learning short, sharp, blunt responses, which is, how some people grow up, and myself included, you may have kids or people around you learning to articulate themselves better, which, can only have positive ripple effects all around. One of the other highlights that I really took away from this, and I was so proud of, and I know a lot of the dads that come along to our that are a part of the Man That Can project inspire their children to do this. We had a moment on Saturday morning where I made the lads do their affirmations. So for those who don't know what affirmations are, it's an affirming phrase for yourself around something that you want to embody into your life, or essentially have that belief about yourself. And my nephew did it, and he had phrases like, "I am confident, I'm strong, happy, and healthy. I'm a good skateboarder," was one of his other. But it was awesome to see just how much his attitude, and that, you can see when a kid's happy with himself. He was smiling to himself after we made him read it out. I think it's such a powerful thing, because a lot of us crave certain things and we wait for people to tell us, or we wait for things to happen, yet it's so underutilized, the fact that we have the ability to do this for ourselves. We have the ability to remind us that we're worthy, that we have the ability to do whatever we set our minds to. And it was awesome to see him doing that. And he proudly walked around with that piece of paper all day. I thought that was incredible. The second part of that was we did a 2-minute TED Talk on your life. And my nephew did that. And it really highlighted how significant things that maybe we pass off as insignificant are to others. And I guess it really ties back into the seek to understand before being understood quote that I really, aspire to live my life by, was that, every interaction with children or with people in general can have a significant positive or a significant negative impact on how they view the world and their quality of life moving forward. And for myself personally, I want to have that standard where, majority of the interaction, I'd love to say all of them, but I'm not perfect, but majority of the interactions that I have in my life, leave people walking away feeling better, or, it might be the one thing that they needed to hear to improve their quality of life. So that really was highlighted for me over the weekend just from getting to hang around with my nephew. And I know, it doesn't just need to be around kids, but I think kids wear their hearts on their sleeves and tell you how they feel, and you can watch, or they tell you what they're seeing. And sometimes they may highlight things about us that we don't want to acknowledge. But once again, as leaders of our own life, and the reason why you guys are listening to this podcast, it's awesome to have, I guess, people in our lives that care enough about us to tell us the truth, to highlight where we can become stronger, where we can, show up as better leaders, better mates, better men. I think that's such a powerful, powerful thing. So, really thinking about modeling the behaviors that you really want, and I guess that you want to portray to people. And one thing that sort of, I guess I was reminiscing on was when I was doing my hypnotherapy certifications. One of the, I guess, hypno journeys that I went on was I had to look at my 4-year-old self and tell him what he needed to hear at that time. And it brought up a lot of emotion for me, because there was things there that I look back that, I really try to make sure that I believe that about myself now. And I remind myself that constantly, because you don't always get it in life. And life's tough. Life can be, brutal at times. And the will to keep going has to come back from us, and, reminding ourselves why we're here, the value that we have to give, and, what we're doing everything for. And if we're not clear upon that, then maybe that's where we need to start. Maybe that's where we need to go back to. Like, why is it that you're getting up every day? And if you feel like you've been beat down for that long, what are the first things that you need to believe about yourself to feel worthy enough to keep going? And you can, I guess, create some phrases, and, you might not believe them when you first start saying them to yourself. I didn't. But if you consistently say it and look for, I guess, moments in your life to validate that belief, it becomes easier. It sticks. And then eventually you start believing that you're worthy. Eventually you start believing that you're confident, that you can be successful, that you're loved, and all of these things that, as men, maybe we don't feel from time to time, but I think a lot of us deep down we want. So take a moment, gents, right now or after, or maybe tonight, to, I guess, think about if you were having a conversation with your 4-year-old self, what do you think you needed to hear back then? And what would you say to your 4-year-old self, or what advice would you give to that 4-year-old version of yourself? And maybe, I guess, take that advice for yourself now. If you didn't get it when you were 4, give it to yourself now, whatever age you are. It's never too late. So model the behaviors that you want. And when you start modeling the behaviors, you'll start understanding how those behaviors play out in your life, and some more of the physiology. That was a really hard one to get out. Physiology of what it is you need to embody to be the man that you want to be, because you can definitely be whoever you want to be, and you've got to inspire yourself to be that man, which will in turn inspire those around you, whether it's children, partners, employees, mates, but you'll be raising the standards of everyone. Thank you guys so much. And remember, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, share it. And if you've got an extra 90 seconds, I would love it if you could leave a review, because it helps us chart more, which helps get these conversations and discussions in the ears of more people that need to listen. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.